He would wake up everyone, rise and rejoice to the name Haribo, Haribo.
All sages, Brahmins, and fire gods present, please hear me with attention. For I speak about the manners of gentle persons. I do not speak out of ignorance or envy.
So Shiva did an unusual thing, that if a pure devotee is preaching, they may do. Okay? So everybody, see, Shiva was conclusive. They weren't. Even though there was millions of demigods, Shiva did the right thing. And they didn't. They actually were offensive to God. They offended the Lord, but they didn't know it. And that's the way the world is. The world is always offending the Lord until a devotee really teaches them what is real, the principles. Because when a devotee is manifested in this world, or say unmanifested, they're here, but you don't see them. Everybody is paying obeisances to the daksha types, the Brahmins and sannyasis, right? They're all doing that. But then there's a pure devotee world. We don't even do anything. We don't stand up for them. Matter of fact, we like to usually criticize them, right? Oh, blah, 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 blah. Oh, we do it so easily. Like water rolling off the tongue. Blah, 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 blah. See? So that's not conclusive, is it? That's why people don't chant in ecstasy. But the devotee does. They're conclusive. They're involved in pure devotional service. That's why I say the real teacher, the real preceptor, the real guru, the real spiritual master, the real acharya is an ecstatic devotee. That's proof they got through all of that, and they would never not pay their obeisances to a pure devotee because they can recognize who one is. Why? Because they are one. Birds of a feather flock together. Okay? But those who are still under the modes of nature and not clear, they're blind persons and often going to blind leaders who are only Brahmitically qualified or sannyas qualified with austerities and renunciation, which is not really the real path. They are in charge of the world. Prabhupada called them glowworms. Yeah. Okay, I'll look at that in a second. See, Prabhupada called them glowworms. Okay? So they glow, but their glow is dim. An acharya, a real spiritual master, is self-effulgent. They are bright when they open their mouth, when they do something. So Shiva did not stand up for the Daksha because it was right. Why should he stand up for them? Everybody should have been bowing down to him. But they thought, well, he's in the mode of ignorance. He's just a neophyte. He is nothing. See, they didn't know his glories. So he said, well, I'm going to act conclusive. I'm not going to stand up. He didn't. And that angered Daksha. He's thinking, oh, you see, he's really in the mode of ignorance. He's not standing up for me because I'm a pure devotee. See, there's so many. Why would you become a guru and take disciples to bow down to you unless you think you're a pure devotee? Huh? If you take obeisances, and people are saying, oh, Gurudev, please deliver me and all that, you're going to deliver me all that. Obviously, you think you're a pure devotee. That's why the Lord will choose a Sudra and teach real religious principles to show that that ain't good enough to be a Brahmin like Daksha. I'm just pulling out of the Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam says, that ain't good enough, man. But people are saying that's good enough. See? They're all worshiping these gurus and teachers as spiritual masters, as acharyas. But they're maybe at best like Daksha, with some Brahmitical effulgence and charisma, but are not pure devotees. See? So the pure devotee, when the acharya manifests, they set things right and say, only Shuddha Bhakti worship if you want to be delivered. Because that doesn't fly. You're not going to be delivered worshiping the mode of goodness. Or you're not even going to be delivered worshiping Brahman. Or a Brahmitically realized person. That ain't good enough. You'll fall down because of offense to the form of God. You won't believe it. You'll preach, oh, there's only Brahman. See? And then you offend the form of God. See? And you fall down, which is good, because then you get another chance. You don't just stay in that effulgence forever and ever.
And I was told that Lord Shiva didn't get up in the assembly because he was chanting and in bliss, so he didn't get up that way. But as you've said it, he didn't get up because like I said, Lord Brahma's been
higher than
him, yeah.
Well, that's exactly what it is. No, he's blissful. That, of course he's in bliss. He's in bliss all the time. But that wasn't the reason he wanted to teach Daksha a lesson. See? Because that was the special mercy of a guru. They create the good fortune. Could you imagine if that didn't happen, if Shiva just stood up like everybody else and didn't do that? Everyone would have continued worshipping Daksha and not get purified. Because how can a person that still has envy, jealousy, and competition with pure devotees purify you? Prabhupada taught that, didn't he? Prabhupada said, look at this, 4th class, this is not Vaishnava. How can they purify anybody, the God brothers? And he said, this is not even Vaishnava. They got envy, jealousy, and competition, towards him, because he's the standard. The pure devotee, if you want to find the path, you find a pure devotee, and they are the white cloth. Not because of the external, do they follow this principle and that principle? No! The heart is pure like gold. And the person, if they got envy, boom, right there, man. There it is. Look at that. They're envious. And the same thing with their Daksha. They couldn't see this. And they're blinded by it because they believe in Daksha. If you believe in all these false acharyas, false gurus, persons who have not realized Krishna as your deliverer, you'll be blind as them. And you will stay blind. See, you won't see who a real pure devotee is until you somehow or other are able to accept that this person is better than a Brahmin or a sannyasi and all that. That's why the Lord teaches real religious principles like this in a living person as a low-class Sudra to defeat that kind of pride. It's proud, envy and jealousy and competition with real devotees. They have to be defeated. First, what do they call? First, there's humility. What's that other word? Humiliation. First humiliation, then humbleness. See? So that's the path for the proud. See, they resist the truth. Don't you notice that? The proud resist the truth. How dare you take the name Srila? Didn't the God brothers do the same thing? What they did to my master, they do here too. Why not? He took the name Prabhupada because his disciples came to him and said, hey, you're definitely it, man. Nobody's doing like you. You're not just Swamiji, man. Let us give you an appropriate title. And he said, okay, that's conclusive. Because he was doing that. And so my students and disciples came to me and said the same thing. They say, hey man, this you just being Gauri Das, that's not appropriate. Let us give you, you should have a title. See, you notice? Like father, like son. I just took the hint from Krishna coming through the disciples. Okay, fine. I also say, yes, conclusive. Look at this. Devotion to Krishna is awakening people. What are you guys going against this? But look at what's happening here. Devotion to Krishna is awakening in the disciples here. Fast. Not like after years. Sometimes in days or months. Pure devotion to Krishna. See? So is it appropriate or not? But people are now, they're taking titles Srila this, Vishnupad that, Bhaktivedanta this, and they don't awaken this kind of bhakti, in anyone. So what's really appropriate? I think we're following in the path that Prabhupada did. Yeah, that's all I'm doing, man. And if I didn't see what was going on here, the fruits going on, not only in myself and others, I say, no, it's not time. Let's see something happening here first. Well, it's happening, everybody. Check it out. It's all checkable. We've got testimonies going here. You can listen to some classes. I'm amazed. To me, it's not very smart to just go and say, oh, you're not a Srila. Oh, yeah? Well, have you seen any classes? No! We just know. I'm just so envious and jealous. Yeah, I'm just going to say it because I have to. You do. You got to barf on the devotee. You got to throw up that poison. Throw up that envy and competition. They had to do it on Prabhupada. How dare you? Raged at him. How dare you take the name Prabhupada? What? It's conclusive. He wasn't Prabhupada. He got the special mercy of his guru. He had ecstasy, his guru had ecstasy, right? He had really good conclusions, better than anybody else. So like his guru, he got the special mercy. He's head of a disciplic line. What, you don't see that going on here? You don't see the ecstasy Prabhupada had? Come on, man, wake up! You see it more than there because he was hiding it from you guys because you're so friggin' envious and jealous. It's true, look at you. No wonder Prabhupada hid it from you and will continue to hide it from you until you are humbled by the truth and set free, you captivated person. Okay? The truth will set you free.
So how should I treat sannyasis? If I'm from anywhere with a lot of Vadi Bhaktis, and a sannyasi comes up and they all get down on their knees, and I think, this guy, and he's not really worthy of my devotion. Should I stand up and not get down, or get down or whatever?
Oh, good question. Yeah, good question there. So what should you do when you're in knowledge like this? That's where it gets interesting. It depends on your potency, how much you've got. Because you're like Madhyamadikar, you're awakened now. Could you take the heat? And the Lord you'll know, because if you can or not, because you might create some, like big confusion and all that. But can you preach the conclusive truth? You'll get there. See? So, I would say in the meantime, well, you just play it by ear, man. If now, everything is in the moment, man. You're learning something right now. See how you are after this class. And then when a situation arises, see what you do. Spontaneous, see what you can do.
I'd like to be able to stand up and say, no, I'm not getting down for you or whatever. I'm not saying you just stand up and not. But I want to be able to have knowledge to sort of refute any arguments when I get from all these people who are around here.
Well, see, the thing is, you don't need to force an argument. You don't need to say, well, I don't want to stand up for you. Come on, you got to know society. What good is that going to do? What good is it going to do? Yeah, for what? What good is that going to do? It's like Jesus. Jesus was around. He was the Messiah, man. He didn't tell them necessarily to go out and tell, he's not necessarily. You have to see, Krishna will inspire you to do it, and if you screw up, you'll know. So one of the principles is preaching to the faithless. Okay? They don't have faith in you, and you're teaching them. What is the point? See? So you have the shelter of that that one of the 10 offenses is to preach the faith. They don't have faith in your words. Why do it? Okay? So, I mean, you don't have to. I mean, now, you don't have to go and act like a crazy man and say, why you don't have to? No, you can just not do it. And then if somebody comes and say, well, why didn't you do it? He's a sannyasi and everything. Now you can preach. You can say, well, I know a pure devotee and I pay obeisances to the pure devotee. And you guys are not doing that. So actually, you're more an offense, not me, because I pay my obeisance to pure devotee. That's what you're supposed to do. Okay? But you're paying obeisances to only sannyasis. See, it's preaching now. See? But you got to have the opportunity. So you don't have to. If somebody comes out, you could see you get devotional intelligence by the more advancement you make. You'll see a situation comes up and then you can preach. But don't start a ruckus over this. I mean, like unnecessarily. Nobody has any faith in you and you're preaching and you're going to sound like a crazy person. See? But you can do that, just not pay obeisances. If somebody comes up, why didn't you do that? Then you can tell them. See? Preach to them like that. That's okay.
Right, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That answers my question very good.
Good.